We're talking about how things happen on old buildings and construction changes and change orders and things that people don't like, which is very prominent with old buildings. And we just recently did a piece of an old building in San Francisco where this happened, and it's fascinating because we want to restore the pieces of things that are broken. There's a process to do that, and it's complex today because of the construction processes and agency oversight. So the process on any building is to come up with, you have an old building, and we want to redesign it. And unfortunately, there are unknown hidden conditions that we can't see in an old building. It's hidden behind walls. Everybody knows that in their house. There's things that you can't see until you do demolition and tear the old things out to discover what's behind them to come to some kind of resolution. The problem with that process is that the way the world works is, up to this point, we're doing documents and getting permits based on drawings that, without knowing everything. And after this point, we've established a price here from a contractor who's doing the demo. We're looking at things behind the walls, and we're working with them to come up with a resolution. And this resolution could be different than the redesign. So there could be a delta here that costs money. And that's a big problem in historic renovation and remodeling in general, is you can't know everything going in, but yet you need to be precise going out and doing drawings that a contractor has latitude to reprice when he finally knows the scope. Old drawings of an old building, original drawings that somehow we found in archives that were copied, Xerox copy, modern technology, able to scan that and bring it into the computer world so that we can edit the drawing. You can see here there's changes down on the lower part of this building, which is a retail component of this office building, which was shown blank here, and we infilled it. And the issue here is the very small detail area along the band here, which has an old cornice with dental work that was not addressed in our original drawings because it looked perfectly good, perfectly sound, perfectly stable, although it was covered on the inside by walls that wouldn't reveal the backside of the detail in the cavity of the wall. So what we discovered, to make a long story short, which you'll see in the video section of the building, is that there was failure there. The connections were rotted out. The cornice really wanted to fall off once we did the demo inside the building. So the cornice had to come off, and that was part of our discovery process. And the resolution was to rebuild the cornice to match in some places where it was too deteriorated, and in other places basically clean the cornice in a shop off-site and put it back on-site and reinstall it. So we basically salvaged what we could and fixed what we could and replicated things in a minor way. And this whole detail here, all these details, are about fixing things during construction after finding the truth, and that you can't know necessarily going into a project. So this is where risk lives in construction on remodels, is not knowing everything and what's inside the building. And unfortunately, the very process of rebuilding reveals these damages or unknown conditions that you have to deal with to basically hold the building back together.
The new materials should match the historic finish with what is existing, so that it sort of just blends in, so it doesn't, stand out as a very different element. I think sheet metal also allows for a lighter installation as well, and then for you to be able to better waterproof the substrate of the building before you attach this to it, but also around the decorative features.
The issue is it's a big heavy piece made out of riveted steel, And so we're talking, hundreds of pounds, and it's attached to wood that's been rotted. The wood's been sitting here for the last 100 years or so. It was detailed improperly to begin with, so it just collected water and rotted out. So what we needed from Kelly was the okay to go ahead and remove this stuff. It's a safety hazard. It's literally fallen off the building now that it's unsupported. And so if we take it down, we just need to park it somewhere and protect it. And then now the question is, what do we replace it with? And she says definitely not an ethos material, which is a foam type material. She wants to see something that's more metallic. So it looks like the best option at this point is some stamped metal to replicate the profile of the old cast iron metal. And then somehow between now and then, we got to come back and figure out a way to attach all this ornamentation back to the building. But I think the best solution is to do it in a manner where it's waterproof now, get it waterproofed, and then come back and just reapply the trim somehow. That's the game plan for now, anyway.
The interesting thing here is you can see this existing metal cornice. It has a flange. It has a little lip on the top of the bottom, which is what they screwed to mount it to this rotted wood. But the metal is so rotted, you can actually take it like a piece of masking tape, and you can pull those edges off. And those edges are what this piece is actually mounted to the building with. And so it's so rotted. These things they're strapped here. You can see where the contractor has strapped them on. They're just barely hanging on by a thread right now.